Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. Distinguished Senator Sadiq Umar, Vice Chairman, Senate Committee on Communicable Diseases, Honorable Ministers, members of the PTF on COVID-19, our viewers from homes and offices, gentlemen of the press, a very good afternoon to you, and I welcome you to the briefing for Tuesday, 19th May 2020. This afternoon, we will be taking the remarks, then we take the updates from the Minister of Health, the DG and CDC, the National Coordinator in one group. We'll also receive updates from ministers, including the Minister of Information and Culture. If we have any addition, we will let you know as we progress. May I now invite the chairman of the PTF COVID-19 to please make his remarks. SGF, sir.
Distinguished Senator Sadiq Umar, Vice Chairman of the Senate Committee on Communicable Diseases, members of the Presidential Task Force, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, once more, our sincere apologies. Today, we had an engagement with the National Assembly, and all geared towards our national response. However, I welcome you to the national briefing by the Presidential Task Force, the PTF on COVID-19, for Tuesday, 19th May 2020. Yesterday, the Presidential Task Force comprehensively conveyed Mr. President's directive on extending the eased lockdown for another 2 weeks in the bid to further contain and control the spread of the disease. This well-considered decision was taken out of an abundance of caution, current experiences from different countries, and expert advice. I must add also that we were persuaded by the history of global pandemics because it is replete with evidence of exponential rise in pandemic upon early lifting of restrictions, for which the 1918 to 1920 influenza remains the most recent example in human history. Nigeria, judging from this historical perspective, must in our present approach delicately balance between safety and economic consideration before we reopen the economy fully. Again, I wish to repeat that the decision is not punitive. We share your pains and also share your concerns. However, as I said yesterday, our future remains in our hands, and compliance is one of the keys to opening that future. As we go into the first week of the extension of Phase 1 under the eased lockdown regime, we appeal once more to everyone to diligently comply with measures put in place. Of particular importance is the need to obey the curfew, obey the ban on interstate travels, observe physical distancing, continue to avoid large gatherings, and obey personal and respiratory hygiene, and align with the policy on use of face masks or coverings. I must also emphasize that the 2 additional weeks should be utilized by businesses, offices, professional bodies, places of worship, educational institutions awaiting reopening to plan and adopt new strategies under a COVID-19 era in line with the guidelines issued. Above all, behavioral change is a must for every citizen because COVID-19 has changed the world completely. The PTF COVID-19 is committed and determined to continue to provide the required leadership for this national response. In the coming days, intense consultations will be deepened with different segments of the society, including the state governments, security agencies, religious and community leaders to ensure a coordinated implementation of the measures. As I mentioned yesterday, specific directives have been issued to security agencies to strictly enforce the measures. I therefore admonish Nigerians to please observe the restriction in full. I, however, wish to assure our essential workers, such as the frontline medical personnel, the media, the environmental health workers, farmers and agro-related service providers, oil and gas services, aviation, the power sector, and a host of others, that they will be adequately protected. Your obligation is to always carry a valid means of identification. As part of our engagement strategy, the Presidential Task Force, a sub of our committee, met with the joint health committees of the National Assembly this afternoon, today, to seek further collaboration and support for the battle. We robustly presented the health sector response to the pandemic. As expected, the interactive session was very useful, and the Presidential Task Force COVID-19 received a reassurance of the support from the legislature. And that is evidenced by the presence of distinguished Senator Sadiq Umar, who is one of the vice chairmen of the health committees in the Senate, who is present with us today at this press conference. I think this is his second attendance. We welcome you, sir, and we thank you for the measure of support that has been extended to this task force. I am happy to inform you that our risk communication strategy has been enhanced by the Public Relations Consultants Association of Nigeria, PRACAN. The professional body has offered the services of its members pro bono to the Presidential Task Force in order to strategically and effectively communicate with more Nigerians on the pandemic. The Presidential Task Force appreciates this offer and look forward to consolidating the relationship. Consistent with our community engagement strategy, we will leverage on existing community structures and assets right down to the ward level to push through a massive public awareness campaign aimed at ensuring voluntary community engagement and ownership of the fight. Let me remind all Nigerians that the ravaging force of the virus does not discriminate on the basis of status, creed, political persuasion, profession, or where you come from. Now is the time to avoid any distraction from whatever quarters, and all hands must be and remain on deck. On our part, we assure Nigerians of our commitment to accountability, diligence, and probity. Finally, I wish to also remind all Nigerians to remain their brothers' keepers at this moment. Your response so far has been tremendous, and I urge that we do more in helping out where necessary. We should do more for the elderly, particularly the sick, persons living with disabilities, pregnant women, the vulnerable, and the poor that we find amidst us, who must avoid stigmatization and must consider the mental health of those affected and offer them necessary support. For those who are struggling with the disease, help is available. Do not go underground. It is important to talk about it and to seek help. Every effort spares humanity the agony of the spread of the virus. I now call on the Honorable Minister of Health and the DG Nigerian Center for Disease Control, and subsequently the National Coordinator and other ministers to give you the current update. I thank you for your patience and for listening. Thank you.